The sun had not yet risen when the settlement was attacked, and Mary, pregnant and alone, was left behind. Her people scattered in panic, seeking safety from the chaos. No allies, no refuge, just echoes of fear and isolation. She hid in the barn, heart pounding, feeling utterly abandoned. But then, through the destruction, a Navajo warrior appeared. Strong, calm, and offering a lifeline. She thought all was lost, but destiny had other plans. Before we dive in, share where you're watching from, and subscribe if you believe in unexpected alliances. The sun had not yet risen when the small settlement was attacked. It happened quickly. The bandits came without warning, moving like shadows under the cover of darkness. They were ruthless and fast, leaving little time for the settlers to react. Panic spread through the community as people rushed to gather their belongings, hoping to escape the chaos. Mary, a young woman expecting her first child, was caught in the middle of this turmoil. She watched as families grabbed what they could and ran toward the nearby woods, seeking safety from the attackers. Her heart pounded in her chest as she tried to make sense of the confusion around her. She knew she should move, but fear rooted her to the spot. Amid the noise and screams, Mary realized she was alone. The people she thought she could count on had left her behind in their haste to save themselves. She felt a wave of despair wash over her, but she knew she had to act. The barn, now empty and in ruins, seemed like the only place she could hide. She hurried inside, finding a corner where she crouched low, hoping to remain unseen. As the night dragged on, Mary listened to the sounds of destruction. The bandits were thorough, taking what they wanted and setting fire to the buildings. The smell of smoke filled the air, and Mary covered her mouth with her shawl to keep from coughing. She prayed they would not find her hiding spot. Hours passed, and the noise finally began to fade. The bandits had taken what they wanted and moved on, leaving the settlement in ruins. Mary remained in her hiding place, too afraid to move. It was only when the first light of dawn crept through the cracks in the barn's walls that she dared to emerge. The sight that greeted her was heartbreaking. The settlement was destroyed, with smoldering remains of homes and belongings scattered everywhere. Mary walked through the remains, feeling the weight of her isolation. She was utterly alone, with no one to turn to and nowhere to go. Mary's thoughts turned to the future. She was pregnant and vulnerable, with no idea how she would survive in this new reality. Her mind raced as she considered her options. She could not stay here. The settlement was no longer safe. But leaving meant facing the unknown, and she was terrified of what lay beyond the familiar boundaries of her home. As she stood there, lost in thought, Mary heard a sound that made her heart skip a beat. Footsteps approached, crunching on the debris-strewn ground. Her first instinct was to hide again, fearing the bandits had returned to finish what they started. She ducked behind a fallen beam, peering out cautiously. The figure that emerged was not what she expected. It was a man, but not one of the bandits. He moved with a quiet grace, his eyes scanning the area with a keen awareness. Mary watched him, unsure of his intentions. She considered staying hidden but knew she couldn't stay there forever. Summoning her courage, Mary stepped out from her hiding place, ready to defend herself if necessary. The man stopped, noticing her movement. He looked at her, and she saw no threat in his gaze. Instead, there was curiosity and something else she couldn't quite place. The man was a Navajo warrior, and he introduced himself as Kai. He had come to see what had happened after hearing about the attack. His presence was unexpected, but Mary felt a flicker of hope at meeting someone who might help her. Kai approached slowly, sensing her fear. He offered her food and water, showing he meant no harm. Mary hesitated but realized she had little choice. She accepted his offer, grateful for the sustenance. She tried to gauge his intentions, wondering if she could trust him. As they sat together, Mary learned more about Kai. He was traveling alone, seeking peace and solitude. He respected the land and its people, guided by traditions and a deep connection to nature. His calm demeanor and quiet strength reassured her, and she found herself opening up about her own situation. Mary shared her story, explaining how she had been left behind by the settlers. She spoke of her fears for her unborn child and her uncertainty about the future. Kai listened, his expression thoughtful. He understood the challenges she faced and admired her resilience. Their conversation marked the beginning of a tentative trust. Mary realized she couldn't survive alone, and Kai seemed willing to help her. She sensed that he saw something in her worth protecting, a shared humanity that transcended their differences. Kai suggested they leave the ruins and find a safer place to rest. The woods nearby offered shelter and resources, and he promised to teach her how to navigate the wilderness. Mary agreed, knowing it was her best chance of survival. Together, they made their way into the forest, leaving the destroyed settlement behind. The path was unfamiliar, but Kai guided her with confidence. Mary felt a mix of fear and anticipation as she followed him, her mind focused on the journey ahead. As they walked, Mary reflected on her situation. She had lost everything familiar, but she was not without hope. With Kai's help, she might find a way to start anew. She was determined to learn from him and contribute what she could. The day stretched on as they traveled deeper into the woods. The terrain was challenging, but Mary pushed forward, driven by a need to survive for her child's sake. She knew the journey would be difficult, but she felt stronger with Kai by her side. As night fell, they stopped to rest. Kai showed her how to build a small fire, its warmth a comforting presence in the dark. Mary felt a sense of security she hadn't experienced in a long time. She realized she was beginning to trust Kai, and the feeling was mutual. Under the stars, Mary thought about the people who had left her behind. She felt a pang of sadness but knew she couldn't dwell on the past. Her future lay ahead, and she was determined to face it with courage. The journey was just beginning, and Mary knew it would test her in ways she couldn't yet imagine. But she also knew she was not alone. With Kai's help, she would find a way to survive and build a new life for herself and her child. As she drifted to sleep, Mary felt a sense of hope she hadn't thought possible. The path was uncertain, but she was ready to face whatever came her way. She had lost much, but she had also found something invaluable: a chance to start again, and a companion who understood the importance of strength and resilience. Morning light filtered through the trees, casting a soft glow over the forest. Mary woke up, feeling the chill of dawn. She stretched, trying to shake off the stiffness from sleeping on the ground. Beside her, the fire had burned down to embers, leaving a faint warmth. Kai was already awake, quietly checking their surroundings. Mary felt a sense of security with Kai nearby. He moved with a quiet confidence that reassured her. She hoped their journey would bring them to a safer place, somewhere they could rest and plan for the future. She knew she had to rely on Kai, at least for now. As they prepared to move on, Kai shared a simple breakfast of berries and nuts. Mary accepted gratefully, aware of how little they had. She wondered how long they could continue like this, but she tried not to dwell on the uncertainty. They walked deeper into the forest, following a narrow path that seemed to wind endlessly. Mary struggled to keep up at times, her body not yet used to the demands of travel. Kai noticed her fatigue and slowed his pace, offering her a steadying hand when the terrain became rough. The silence of the forest was broken only by the sounds of nature. Birds called to each other from the treetops, and the rustle of leaves marked the passage of small animals. Mary found the sounds comforting, a reminder that life went on despite the chaos they had left behind. As the sun rose higher, they paused to rest by a small stream. Mary knelt by the water, splashing her face and drinking deeply. The cold water refreshed her, and she felt a surge of determination. She had to stay strong for her child. Kai watched her, noting her resilience. He understood the challenges she faced and admired her quiet strength. He wanted to help her, to teach her the skills she needed to survive. Her courage reminded him of his own journey, and he felt a connection to her struggle. After resting, they continued their journey. Mary asked Kai about his life, curious to learn more about him. Kai spoke of his people, the Navajo, and their deep respect for the land. He told her about the traditions that guided his actions and the wisdom passed down through generations. Mary listened intently, fascinated by his stories. She realized how different their worlds were, yet she saw the value in what he shared. She wanted to understand more, to learn from him and grow. Their conversation flowed easily as they walked, each word building a bridge between their two worlds. Mary shared her own experiences, talking about her family and the life she had left behind. She spoke of her hopes for her child, her voice tinged with both fear and determination. Kai listened, offering quiet support. He knew the path ahead would not be easy, but he believed they could face it together. He promised to teach Mary what he knew, to help her find her place in this new world. As the day wore on, they encountered a fallen tree blocking their path. Kai paused, assessing the situation. He showed Mary how to navigate around it, using the opportunity to teach her about finding alternate routes. Mary followed his lead, grateful for his guidance. The sun began to set as they reached a small clearing. Kai suggested they camp there for the night, the open space offering a clear view of the sky. Mary agreed, feeling the day's journey in her weary limbs. They set up a simple camp, gathering wood for a fire and arranging their few belongings. Kai showed Mary how to identify edible plants, teaching her which ones were safe to eat. Mary paid close attention, eager to learn. As darkness fell, they sat by the fire, its warmth a welcome comfort. Mary felt a sense of peace, a momentary respite from the worries that plagued her. She knew the road ahead was long, but she was grateful for the support Kai offered. Kai shared more stories of his people, his voice soft against the night. Mary listened, absorbed in the tales of bravery and wisdom. She felt a growing respect for Kai, recognizing the strength and kindness that guided his actions. In return, Mary spoke of her dreams for the future. She imagined a place where she could raise her child in safety, surrounded by a community that cared for one another. She wanted to create a life filled with hope and possibility. Their conversation wove a tapestry of shared dreams and mutual understanding. Mary felt a growing bond with Kai, a friendship forged in the fires of adversity. She knew she could rely on him, and she hoped he felt the same. As the fire died down, Mary lay back, gazing up at the stars. She thought of the journey ahead, the challenges they would face. But she also thought of the strength she had found within herself, a strength drawn from the support of her newfound friend. Kai watched over her, sensing her resolve. He knew the road would test them, but he believed in their ability to overcome the obstacles. Together, they would find a way to build a new life, a life where both their worlds could coexist. The night passed quietly, the forest a silent witness to their journey. As dawn approached, Mary felt a renewed sense of hope. She had found a companion in Kai, someone who understood the importance of courage and resilience. Their path was uncertain, but they were not alone. With each step, they moved closer to a future filled with possibility, a future where they could create the life they dreamed of. Mary knew it would not be easy, but she was ready to face whatever came their way. As the first light of day broke through the trees, Mary and Kai prepared to continue their journey. Together, they would navigate the challenges, supporting each other as they sought a place to call home. With hope in her heart and determination in her stride, Mary was ready to face the future, knowing she was not alone. The sun peeked over the horizon, casting a warm glow across the landscape. Mary and Kai resumed their journey, stepping carefully along the narrow forest path. Each day brought new challenges, but they faced them together, their bond growing stronger with each shared experience. As they walked, Mary thought about the trust she had begun to place in Kai. She had been wary at first, unsure of his intentions. But over time, his actions had shown her that he was a man of integrity. He had been patient and kind, teaching her the skills she needed to survive in the wilderness. Kai continued to guide Mary, pointing out plants and animals, explaining their uses and behaviors. His knowledge was vast, drawn from years of living close to nature. Mary was eager to learn, absorbing as much information as she could. One afternoon, they stopped in a small clearing to rest. The sun was high in the sky, and the air was warm. Mary sat down on a fallen log, grateful for the chance to catch her breath. Kai handed her a piece of dried meat, a simple but welcome meal. As they ate, their conversation turned to their pasts. Mary spoke about her life before the raid, describing the small community she had called home. She talked about her family, her voice tinged with both sadness and fondness. Kai listened, nodding in understanding. He shared stories of his own upbringing, painting a picture of a life deeply connected to the land. He spoke of his family and the traditions that had shaped him. Mary found comfort in his words, realizing that despite their different backgrounds, they shared common values. Their discussions often turned to the future. Mary dreamed of a safe place where she could raise her child, free from the fear and uncertainty that had marked her recent days. She wanted a home, a place where she could build a new life. Kai understood her hopes. He, too, longed for peace and stability, a place where he could live freely and honor his heritage. Together, they imagined a future where both their dreams could come true, a future shaped by mutual respect and understanding. As the days passed, their tentative trust grew into a deep friendship. They shared stories and laughter, finding joy in each other's company. Mary felt a sense of belonging she hadn't expected, a connection that transcended their differences. Kai valued Mary's presence, appreciating her courage and determination. Her willingness to learn and adapt impressed him, and he admired her resilience in the face of adversity. He felt a protective instinct toward her, wanting to help her find the safety and stability she sought. The journey was not without its challenges. The terrain was often difficult, and finding food and water required constant effort. But Mary and Kai supported each other, pooling their strengths and knowledge to overcome obstacles. Mary learned to trust Kai's instincts, relying on his experience to guide them through unfamiliar territory. She, in turn, shared her own skills, using her knowledge of herbs to treat minor injuries and ailments. Their partnership was one of equals, each contributing to their shared survival. One evening, as they made camp, Mary reflected on how far they had come. She thought about the woman she had been when the raid had torn her life apart. She realized she had grown stronger, more capable than she had believed possible. Kai noticed her thoughtful expression and asked what was on her mind. Mary shared her thoughts, speaking about the journey and the changes she had undergone. She talked about the fears she had faced and the courage she had found within herself. Kai listened, offering words of encouragement. He reminded her of her strength and resilience, qualities that had carried her through the darkest times. He expressed his belief in her ability to create the life she envisioned for herself and her child. Their conversation was a turning point, solidifying the bond they had built. Mary realized she was no longer alone in her struggle. She had found a true friend in Kai, someone who understood her hopes and fears. As night fell, they sat by the fire, the warmth and light a comforting presence in the darkness. Mary felt a sense of peace, a quiet certainty that they were on the right path. She knew the journey would continue to test them, but she was ready to face whatever lay ahead. Kai shared another story, his voice weaving a tale of bravery and wisdom. Mary listened, lulled by the rhythm of his words. She found inspiration in the story, a reminder of the strength that came from unity and trust. The fire burned low, and the stars shone brightly overhead. Mary and Kai settled down to rest, their thoughts filled with the promise of a new day. They had come far, and the path ahead was still uncertain. But they were not alone, and together, they would find their way. As Mary drifted to sleep, she felt a deep sense of gratitude. She had lost much in the raid, but she had also gained something invaluable. Her friendship with Kai had given her hope and strength, a foundation on which to build her new life. The night passed peacefully, the forest a silent guardian as they slept. With the dawn, they would continue their journey, each step bringing them closer to the future they dreamed of. Mary was ready, her heart filled with hope and determination. With Kai by her side, she knew she could face whatever challenges awaited them. The morning sun filtered through the trees as Mary and Kai prepared to continue their journey. Each day brought new challenges, but their growing bond gave them strength. Together, they faced the unknown, determined to find a place of safety and peace. The path ahead was rugged, with uneven terrain and dense underbrush. Mary struggled at times, her body still adjusting to the demands of their travels. Kai noticed her fatigue and offered his arm for support, helping her over difficult patches. Despite the hardships, Mary was determined to contribute. She wanted to be more than just a follower. She wanted to learn and grow, to be an equal partner in their journey. Kai respected her determination and began teaching her survival skills. He showed her how to identify edible plants, pointing out their unique features. Mary learned to recognize berries and roots that could provide nourishment. She paid close attention, eager to absorb the knowledge. Kai also taught her to set simple traps for small game. They worked together to fashion snares from the materials around them. Mary watched as Kai demonstrated, then tried her hand at setting a trap herself. It was a skill she had never imagined needing, but she took to it with determination. Their efforts soon paid off. One morning, they found a rabbit caught in one of their traps. It was a small victory, but it lifted their spirits. Mary felt a sense of accomplishment, knowing she had helped provide food for them both. As they traveled, Mary shared her own knowledge with Kai. She had learned about herbs from her mother, skills passed down through generations. She showed Kai how to use certain plants for healing, preparing poultices for cuts and bruises. Kai was impressed by her expertise, recognizing the value of her contributions. Together, they combined their skills, creating a partnership built on mutual respect and reliance. The days turned into weeks, and their journey continued. They faced rain and cold, but they adapted, finding ways to stay warm and dry. Kai taught Mary how to build a shelter from branches and leaves, a skill that proved essential during storms. Mary's confidence grew with each challenge they overcame. She felt stronger, more capable than she had been at the start. The wilderness had tested her in ways she hadn't anticipated, but it had also revealed her resilience. Kai admired Mary's growth, seeing her determination mirrored in his own journey. He knew the path ahead would not be easy, but he believed they could face it together. Their shared experiences had forged a bond that strengthened with each passing day. One afternoon, as they walked, Kai sensed something amiss. He paused, his eyes scanning the forest. Mary noticed his tension and stopped, waiting quietly. Kai motioned for her to follow him off the path, seeking a safer route. They moved with caution, aware that the wilderness could be unpredictable. Mary trusted Kai's instincts, knowing he had guided them safely through many challenges. She felt a surge of gratitude, recognizing the importance of their partnership. As they continued, they stumbled upon a small grove of trees, their branches heavy with fruit. It was a welcome find, and they quickly gathered what they could. The sweet taste of the fruit was a reminder of the small joys that punctuated their journey. Resting in the grove, Mary and Kai reflected on their progress. They had come far, overcoming obstacles both physical and emotional. Mary thought about the woman she had become, shaped by the challenges and the companionship she had found. Kai spoke of his journey, the lessons he had learned from the land and its people. He shared stories of his ancestors, their wisdom guiding him as he navigated the present. Mary listened, feeling a connection to the stories that transcended their different backgrounds. Their conversations often turned to the future. Mary dreamed of a place where she could raise her child, a home filled with love and safety. Kai understood her hopes, sharing her vision of a life where they could live freely and honor their respective heritages. As the sun began to set, they resumed their journey. The path ahead was uncertain, but they faced it with resolve. Mary felt a renewed sense of purpose, her heart buoyed by the support of her friend. Kai remained vigilant, attuned to the forest's rhythms. He led the way, guiding Mary with a steady hand. Their partnership was one of equals, each bringing their strengths to the journey. As night fell, they made camp near a small stream, its gentle flow a soothing presence. They set up a simple shelter, gathering wood for a fire. The warmth and light provided comfort against the darkness. Sitting by the fire, Mary felt a sense of peace. She had found strength and resilience within herself, qualities that had carried her through the hardest times. Her friendship with Kai had been a source of hope and inspiration, a reminder that she was not alone. Kai shared another story, his voice weaving a tale of courage and wisdom. Mary listened, finding inspiration in his words. She knew the road ahead would continue to test them, but she was ready to face whatever challenges awaited. The fire burned low, casting shadows that danced across the ground. Mary and Kai settled down to rest, their thoughts filled with the promise of a new day. They had come far, and their journey was far from over. But together, they would find their way, each step bringing them closer to the future they dreamed of. As Mary drifted to sleep, she felt a deep sense of gratitude. She had lost much, but she had also gained something invaluable. Her friendship with Kai had given her hope and strength, a foundation on which to build a new life. With Kai by her side, she knew she could face whatever challenges awaited them. The days grew shorter as Mary and Kai continued their journey through the forest. The air had turned cooler, a reminder that the seasons were changing. They pressed on, aware that finding a more sheltered place to settle was becoming increasingly important. One evening, they set up camp by a river, its steady flow providing a source of water. The location seemed ideal, offering both resources and a measure of security. Mary and Kai worked together to gather wood for a fire, their movements practiced and efficient. As the sun dipped below the horizon, they prepared a simple meal. The warmth from the fire was a welcome comfort against the chill of the evening. Mary felt a sense of peace, grateful for the companionship and support Kai provided. Their conversation was relaxed, each sharing stories from their past. Mary spoke of her family, the memories tinged with both sadness and fondness. Kai listened, offering words of understanding. His presence was a steadying force, reassuring her that she was not alone. Suddenly, the tranquility was shattered by the sound of rustling in the nearby bushes. Both Mary and Kai tensed, their senses alert. They knew the wilderness could be unpredictable, and caution was necessary. Kai motioned for Mary to stay close as he reached for his knife, his eyes scanning the darkness. The noise grew louder, and Mary felt her heart race. She knew they had to be ready for anything. The rustling intensified, and figures emerged from the shadows. A group of bandits, their intentions clear in their aggressive stance. Mary felt a surge of fear, but she knew they had to remain calm and think clearly. Kai quickly assessed the situation. The bandits were a threat, and he needed to protect Mary. He whispered a plan, instructing her to hide while he tried to lead the attackers away. Mary hesitated, fear gripping her, but she trusted Kai's judgment. With a nod, Mary slipped into the shadows, finding a spot where she could watch without being seen. Her heart pounded as she waited, every nerve on edge. She knew Kai was skilled, but the danger was real and immediate. Kai stepped forward, drawing the bandits' attention. His movements were calculated, designed to provoke and distract. The bandits advanced, their focus on him. Kai led them away from the camp, moving with purpose. Mary watched, her breath held. She felt helpless, her mind racing with worry. She knew Kai was capable, but the risk was high. Her resolve to survive was tested, and she steeled herself, ready to defend if needed. The minutes stretched into what felt like hours. Mary remained hidden, her eyes glued to the direction Kai had gone. She listened for any sign, hoping for his safe return. The forest was eerily quiet, the tension palpable. Finally, movement caught her eye. Kai emerged from the shadows, his expression calm but determined. He had successfully diverted the bandits, leading them away from their camp. Mary felt a wave of relief wash over her. Her fears momentarily eased. Kai approached, his steps quick and purposeful. He assured Mary that the danger had passed, at least for now. They needed to leave the area quickly to find a safer location for the night. Mary nodded, her trust in Kai unwavering. They gathered their belongings, moving swiftly away from the river. The night's events had shaken her, but she knew they had to keep going. Kai's presence was a source of comfort, his strength a beacon in the darkness. They traveled in silence, each lost in their own thoughts. Mary realized how much she had come to rely on Kai, his guidance and support invaluable. She was grateful for their partnership, knowing it had kept them both safe. As dawn approached, they found a secluded spot to rest. The forest provided a natural barrier, offering a measure of security. Exhausted but relieved, they set up a temporary camp, eager to put distance between themselves and the threat they had faced. Mary felt a mixture of emotions: fear, relief, and gratitude. The bandits had been a reminder of the dangers that lurked beyond the safety of their camp. But it had also shown her the depth of their resilience, their ability to adapt and overcome. Kai remained vigilant, his instincts sharp. He knew the path ahead would continue to test them, but he believed in their ability to face it together. Mary felt a renewed sense of determination, her resolve strengthened by the night's events. As they settled in, Mary reflected on their journey. She realized how far they had come, the challenges they had faced together. Her friendship with Kai had grown into something more, a partnership built on trust and mutual respect. The night passed quietly, the forest a silent guardian as they rested. With the dawn, they would continue their journey, each step bringing them closer to the future they sought. Mary was ready, her heart filled with hope and determination. With Kai by her side, she knew they could face whatever challenges awaited them. The sun rose steadily, casting light on a new day. Mary and Kai moved cautiously after the encounter with the bandits. They kept a quick pace, eager to find a more secure place to rest. The forest was dense, but Kai's familiarity with the land guided them. By midday, they reached a narrow canyon hidden among the hills. Its entrance was concealed by thick vegetation, a natural barrier that offered protection. Kai mentioned that few knew of this place, making it a potential refuge. Mary followed Kai into the canyon, her steps careful. The path was winding, the walls towering on either side. As they moved deeper inside, the air grew cooler, and a sense of calm settled over them. The canyon was quiet, a stark contrast to the chaos they had left behind. As they explored, Kai pointed out small streams and patches of edible plants. The canyon was rich with resources, providing water and food. Mary felt a flicker of hope, recognizing the potential of this place as a temporary home. They set up camp near one of the streams, its gentle flow a soothing presence. Mary felt a sense of relief, grateful for the shelter the canyon provided. It was a place where they could rest and recover, away from the dangers that lurked beyond. As they settled in, Kai shared stories of his people. The Navajo had deep roots in the land, their traditions passed down through generations. He spoke of rituals and ceremonies, the wisdom of his ancestors guiding him. Mary listened, intrigued by the rich cultural heritage Kai described. She found comfort in the stories, a connection to a world that was both foreign and familiar. She realized how much she had learned from Kai, his teachings shaping her understanding of the world. Kai showed her more about the canyon, teaching her how to respect and use its resources. Mary was eager to learn, her skills growing with each lesson. She felt a sense of empowerment, knowing she could contribute to their survival. Their days in the canyon were filled with both work and rest. They gathered food, collected water, and reinforced their camp. The routine was grounding, a welcome change from the constant movement of their journey. Mary felt her spirits lift, the fear and uncertainty that had gripped her slowly fading. She found solace in the beauty of the canyon, its quiet strength a source of comfort. Her friendship with Kai grew deeper, their bond forged in the fires of adversity. As they spent more time together, Mary and Kai shared more of their respective cultures. Mary introduced Kai to songs and stories from her childhood, moments of joy and laughter brightening their days. In return, Kai shared Navajo music, the melodies haunting and beautiful. Their cultural exchange was enriching, each learning from the other. Mary gained a new appreciation for the spirituality and wisdom of the Navajo, while Kai gained insight into the struggles faced by settlers. Their bond transcended their differences, a testament to the power of understanding and respect. One evening, as they sat by the fire, Mary reflected on their journey. She thought about the woman she had become, shaped by the challenges and companionship she had found. Her friendship with Kai had given her hope and strength, a foundation on which to build a new life. Kai noticed her thoughtful expression and asked what was on her mind. Mary shared her reflections, speaking about the journey and the growth she had experienced. She talked about the fears she had faced and the courage she had found within herself. Kai listened, offering words of encouragement. He reminded her of her resilience, qualities that had carried her through the hardest times. He expressed his belief in her ability to create the life she envisioned for herself and her child. The canyon had become a place of healing, a sanctuary where they could rest and reflect. Mary felt a renewed sense of purpose, her heart buoyed by the support of her friend. She knew the journey was far from over, but she was ready to face whatever lay ahead. As night fell, Mary looked up at the stars, their light a reminder of the vastness of the world. She felt a deep sense of gratitude, knowing she had found something invaluable in her friendship with Kai. Together, they had faced the challenges of the wilderness, each step bringing them closer to the future they sought. The fire burned low, casting long shadows on the canyon walls. Mary and Kai settled down to rest, their thoughts filled with the promise of a new day. They had come far, and the path ahead was still uncertain. But they were not alone, and together, they would find their way. With the dawn, they would continue their journey, each step bringing them closer to the future they dreamed of. Mary was ready, her heart filled with hope and determination. With Kai by her side, she knew she could face whatever challenges awaited them. The days passed peacefully in the canyon, each one bringing Mary and Kai closer. The canyon had become their sanctuary, a place where they could rest and grow. The fear and uncertainty of the outside world seemed distant here, replaced by a sense of safety and belonging. Mary felt herself changing, her confidence growing with each new skill she learned. She had become more attuned to the rhythms of nature, her senses sharper, her movements more assured. The wilderness, once daunting, had become a teacher, revealing lessons she had never imagined. Kai continued to guide her, sharing the wisdom of his people. He taught her about the balance of nature, the importance of living in harmony with the land. Mary absorbed his teachings, her understanding deepening with each conversation. Their friendship had grown into a deep bond, built on trust and respect. Mary valued Kai's insights, his calm presence a source of strength. She felt a profound connection to him, a friendship that transcended their different backgrounds. As they spent more time together, they shared stories and traditions, their cultural exchange enriching and enlightening. Mary introduced Kai to the songs and tales of her childhood, moments of joy and laughter brightening their days. In return, Kai shared Navajo music and stories, their melodies and messages haunting and beautiful. Mary found herself drawn to the spirituality of the Navajo, the deep respect for the land and its creatures. She learned about the ceremonies and rituals that honored the natural world, finding inspiration in their reverence and wisdom. Kai, in turn, gained insight into the life of the settlers, their struggles and dreams. He appreciated Mary's openness, her willingness to learn and adapt. Their conversations were a bridge between their worlds, each learning from the other, each gaining a new perspective. One day, as they walked through the canyon, Kai showed Mary a special place. It was a small clearing, surrounded by towering walls of rock. The air was warm, the light soft and golden. Kai explained that this spot was sacred, a place where his people came to seek guidance and strength. Mary felt honored to be included, recognizing the significance of the moment. She sat quietly, absorbing the tranquility of the space. The canyon had become more than just a refuge. It was a place of healing and growth, a sanctuary where she could find peace. As they sat together, Mary thought about her journey. She had come far from the person she had been, her experiences shaping her in ways she hadn't imagined. Her friendship with Kai had been a source of strength and inspiration, a partnership that had carried her through the darkest times. Kai sensed her reflection and asked what she was thinking. Mary shared her thoughts, speaking of the fears she had faced and the courage she had found within herself. She talked about the dreams she held for the future, a future filled with hope and possibility. Kai listened, his expression thoughtful. He encouraged her, reminding her of her resilience and strength. He believed in her ability to create the life she envisioned, a life filled with love and safety for her child. The peace of the canyon had given them both a chance to reflect and grow. They had found a balance, a rhythm to their days that was both comforting and empowering. Together, they had faced the challenges of the wilderness, each step bringing them closer to the future they sought. Their time in the canyon was a period of bonding and learning, a time of cultural exchange and personal growth. Mary felt a deep sense of gratitude, knowing she had found something invaluable in her friendship with Kai. Together, they had built a foundation on which to build a new life. As night fell, they sat by the fire, its warmth a comforting presence in the darkness. Mary looked up at the stars, their light a reminder of the vastness of the world. She felt a sense of peace, knowing she was not alone. With Kai by her side, she knew she could face whatever challenges awaited them. The path ahead was uncertain, but she was ready to continue the journey, each step bringing them closer to the future they dreamed of. The fire burned low, casting long shadows on the canyon walls. Mary and Kai settled down to rest, their thoughts filled with the promise of a new day. They had come far, and their journey was far from over. But together, they would find their way, each step bringing them closer to the life they envisioned. As Mary drifted to sleep, she felt a deep sense of gratitude. She had lost much, but she had also gained something invaluable. Her friendship with Kai had given her hope and strength, a foundation on which to build a new life. With Kai by her side, she knew she could face whatever challenges awaited them. The canyon had become a place of comfort and routine for Mary and Kai. The days passed peacefully, each one bringing them closer together. They had found a rhythm to their lives, a balance between work and rest that was both satisfying and grounding. One afternoon, as they were gathering wood for a fire, they heard footsteps echoing through the canyon. The sound was unexpected, and they both paused, their senses alert. Visitors were rare in this secluded place, and they knew they had to be cautious. Mary felt a twinge of apprehension, her mind flashing back to the bandits they had encountered. But Kai was calm, his expression thoughtful. He motioned for Mary to stay back as he moved towards the source of the sound. A figure emerged from the shadows, a lone man moving with a deliberate pace. He was a Navajo like Kai, and his presence was both surprising and intriguing. He carried himself with a quiet confidence, his eyes scanning the canyon with interest. Kai approached the stranger with a mix of curiosity and caution. The man introduced himself as To, explaining that he was seeking refuge. His journey had been long, marked by the same challenges and dangers Mary and Kai had faced. To's presence brought both potential friendship and tension. His intentions were unclear, and Mary felt a mix of emotions. She was wary, but also recognized the potential for a new ally. In the wilderness, trust was both a necessity and a risk. Kai and To spoke quietly, their conversation focused on assessing each other's intentions. To shared news of growing tensions between settlers and native tribes, his words painting a picture of a fragile peace. The region was unstable, with conflict simmering beneath the surface. Mary listened, absorbing the information. She felt a sense of unease, realizing how precarious their situation was. The canyon had provided a temporary refuge, but the outside world was filled with uncertainty and danger. Despite her apprehensions, Mary recognized the value of To's presence. He brought news and knowledge, insights that could help them navigate the challenges ahead. She felt a flicker of hope, seeing the potential for a new alliance. Kai decided to extend an offer of friendship to To, inviting him to share their camp. Mary agreed, trusting Kai's judgment. She knew they needed allies, people they could rely on as they faced the unknown. To accepted the offer, grateful for the companionship and support. He joined them around the fire, sharing stories of his travels. His presence added a new dynamic to their group, a fresh perspective that enriched their conversations. As the days passed, To became an integral part of their small community. He contributed his skills and knowledge, sharing the burden of work and responsibility. Mary found herself growing more comfortable with his presence, her initial wariness giving way to trust. Their conversations often turned to the challenges facing both settlers and native tribes. To spoke of the tensions that had arisen from misunderstandings and fear. He believed in the possibility of peace, a future where both groups could coexist. Mary appreciated Toe's insights, recognizing the truth in his words. She understood the importance of finding common ground, of building bridges between their different worlds. Her friendship with Kai was a testament to the power of understanding and respect. Kai valued Toe's presence, appreciating his contributions to their group. Together, they discussed strategies for dealing with potential threats, combining their knowledge to create a plan of action. Mary felt a sense of security, knowing she was not alone in facing the challenges ahead. The canyon had become a place of learning and growth, a sanctuary where they could reflect on the past and plan for the future. Their bond had strengthened, each day bringing them closer together. As night fell, they sat by the fire, its warmth a comforting presence in the darkness. Mary felt a sense of peace, knowing she had found a new ally in tow. Together, they had built a community, a foundation on which to build a new life. With the dawn, they would continue their journey, each step bringing them closer to the future they dreamed of. Mary was ready, her heart filled with hope and determination. With Kai and Tow by her side, she knew she could face whatever challenges awaited them. The canyon continued to be a place of refuge for Mary, Kai, and Tow. Each day, they worked together to gather food, maintain their camp, and plan for the future. Their small community had become a source of strength, a place where they could regroup and prepare for whatever challenges lay ahead. One evening, Tow returned from scouting with troubling news. He had overheard a group of bandits planning to raid nearby settlements. The threat was real and imminent, casting a shadow over their peaceful existence. The bandits were ruthless, and their attacks would bring destruction and chaos. Mary felt a chill run down her spine. Memories of the raid on her own settlement flooded back, and she knew the fear and despair such violence could bring. She looked to Kai and Tow, seeking reassurance and guidance. Kai's expression was serious, his mind already working on a plan. He knew they couldn't ignore the threat. They had to act to prevent the bandits from causing further harm. Their community might be small, but together, they could make a difference. Mary felt a surge of determination. She couldn't stand by and let others suffer as she had. She wanted to help, to use the skills she had learned to protect those in danger. Her resolve was strong, fueled by the memories of her past and the hope for a better future. The group gathered around the fire, discussing their options. They knew they had to warn the settlers, to help them prepare for the impending attack. It was a risk, but one they were willing to take. The safety of others depended on their actions. Tow suggested they split up, each taking a different path to reach the settlements quickly. He would go south, while Kai and Mary would head east. Their plan was to spread the word, to alert as many people as they could before the bandits struck. Mary agreed, her heart pounding with both fear and determination. She was nervous, but she knew she wasn't alone. Kai's presence was a steadying force, his confidence reassuring. Together, they could face the danger. As they prepared to leave, Kai reminded them of the importance of caution. The bandits were dangerous, and they needed to stay alert. They reviewed their plan, each committing to their role in the mission. Mary felt a sense of urgency as they set out, her mind focused on the task ahead. The path was familiar, but the stakes were higher than ever before. She moved with purpose, her senses heightened by the knowledge of the danger they faced. The journey was challenging, the terrain rugged and unforgiving. Mary felt the strain in her body, but she pushed through, driven by the need to protect others. She and Kai moved quickly, their pace steady and determined. As they approached the first settlement, Mary felt a mix of relief and anxiety. The settlers needed to know what was coming, but she was unsure how they would react to her warning. She hoped they would listen, that they would take the threat seriously. Kai took the lead, his presence lending credibility to their message. He explained the situation, urging the settlers to prepare for the attack. Mary watched as the settlers' expressions changed from disbelief to concern, their eyes reflecting the seriousness of the situation. The settlers began to organize, gathering supplies and fortifying their defenses. Mary felt a sense of accomplishment, knowing they had made a difference. Their warning had given the settlers a chance to protect themselves, to stand against the threat. With their task complete, Mary and Kai moved on to the next settlement, determined to spread the word as far as they could. Each warning brought a new sense of urgency, a reminder of the responsibility they carried. As night fell, they returned to the canyon, exhausted but hopeful. To was already there, his expression one of relief. He had encountered similar reactions from the settlers he had warned, and together they had made a significant impact. Mary felt a sense of pride in what they had accomplished. They had taken a stand, using their knowledge and skills to help others. Their actions had made a difference, and she knew they had done the right thing. Kai and To shared her sense of satisfaction, their bond strengthened by the shared experience. They had faced the challenge together, each contributing to the success of their mission. The fire burned brightly, its warmth a comforting presence in the darkness. Mary felt a deep sense of gratitude, knowing she was part of a community that cared for one another. Together, they had faced the danger and come out stronger. As they settled down to rest, Mary thought about the future. The threat had not been eliminated, but they had taken a step toward protecting their world. She knew the path ahead would continue to test them, but she was ready to face whatever came their way. With Kai and To by her side, she felt a renewed sense of hope. Together, they would continue their journey, each step bringing them closer to the future they dreamed of. Mary was ready, her heart filled with determination and the promise of a new day. The tension in the air was palpable as Mary, Kai, and To prepared for the coming confrontation. They knew the bandits would not wait long before launching their attack on the settlements. The trio had done what they could to warn the settlers, but now they needed to help defend them. The settlers were on edge, their faces lined with worry. They had fortified their homes as best they could, using whatever materials were available. Mary felt a surge of determination as she looked around at the people she had come to care about. She knew they had to stand together if they were to have any chance of success. Kai, To, and Mary gathered the settlers to form a plan. They had to be strategic, using their knowledge of the land to their advantage. Kai suggested setting up a series of lookouts to warn of the bandits' approach. To proposed creating traps along the path to slow the attackers and give the defenders a chance to regroup. Mary felt a mix of fear and resolve as they discussed their options. She knew the risk was great, but she also knew they had to act. The settlers were counting on them, and she was determined not to let them down. As the sun set, the settlers took their positions, each one prepared to defend their home. Mary stayed close to Kai, her heart pounding with anticipation. The night was quiet, the only sound the rustling of leaves in the breeze. The calm was shattered by the distant sound of approaching footsteps. The bandits were coming, their presence announced by the clatter of weapons and the murmur of voices. Mary felt a chill run down her spine, but she steadied herself, focusing on the task at hand. Kai signaled for everyone to remain calm and hold their positions. The plan was to wait until the bandits were close, then use the element of surprise to their advantage. Mary gripped her weapon tightly, her eyes fixed on the shadows moving closer. The bandits emerged from the darkness, their movements stealthy and coordinated. They approached the settlement cautiously, unaware of the defenders waiting in the shadows. Mary held her breath, her heart racing as the bandits drew nearer. At Kai's signal, the defenders sprang into action. The element of surprise worked in their favor, catching the bandits off guard. Mary watched as the settlers fought back, their determination evident in every move. The battle was intense, the night filled with the sounds of clashing metal and shouted orders. Mary fought alongside Kai, their movements synchronized by their shared experience. She felt a mix of fear and exhilaration, her focus sharpened by the urgency of the moment. To moved with agility and precision, using his knowledge of the terrain to outmaneuver the attackers. His traps slowed the bandits' advance, giving the defenders valuable time to regroup and counterattack. Mary felt a surge of gratitude for his quick thinking and strategic mind. As the battle raged on, Mary found herself face to face with one of the bandits. Her heart raced, but she remembered Kai's teachings, using her skills to defend herself. The confrontation was brief, her resolve strong and unwavering. She emerged victorious, her confidence bolstered by the encounter. The tide of battle slowly turned in favor of the defenders. The bandits, caught off guard by the settlers' preparedness, began to falter. Mary could see the uncertainty in their eyes, their confidence shaken by the resistance they faced. Kai issued a rallying cry, urging the defenders to press their advantage. The settlers responded with renewed vigor, their determination fueled by the realization that they could win. Mary felt a surge of hope, the possibility of victory within reach. With one final push, the defenders drove the bandits back, their retreat hastened by the strength and unity of the settlers. Mary watched as the attackers fled, their figures disappearing into the darkness. The battle was over, the settlement safe for now. Mary felt a mix of relief and exhaustion as the adrenaline began to fade. She turned to Kai, her heart swelling with gratitude for his leadership and support. To joined them, his expression one of satisfaction and pride. The plan had worked, their efforts rewarded by the safety of the settlement. Mary felt a deep sense of accomplishment, knowing they had made a difference. As dawn broke, the settlers gathered to assess the aftermath. The damage was minimal, a testament to their preparation and resilience. Mary felt a sense of pride in what they had achieved, their actions a powerful reminder of the strength that came from unity. The victory had solidified the bonds between Mary, Kai, and To. Their partnership had been tested and proven strong, each one contributing to the success of their mission. Mary knew they had faced a significant challenge and emerged stronger for it. As the sun rose higher in the sky, the settlers began to rebuild, their spirits lifted by the triumph of the night. Mary felt a renewed sense of hope, her heart filled with the promise of a brighter future. With Kai and To by her side, she knew they could face whatever challenges lay ahead. Together, they would continue their journey, each step bringing them closer to the life they dreamed of. Mary was ready, her heart filled with determination and the promise of a new day. The morning light revealed a settlement buzzing with activity. After the battle, there was a renewed sense of unity among the settlers. They had faced a common enemy and emerged victorious, their bonds strengthened by the shared experience. Mary felt a sense of belonging she hadn't known in a long time. The settlers gathered to celebrate their victory, grateful for the safety they had secured. There was laughter and relief in the air, a stark contrast to the tension of the previous night. Mary watched as people exchanged stories and shared meals, their faces alight with hope. Kai, To, and Mary stood together, their friendship a testament to the power of cooperation and trust. They had come a long way, each bringing their strengths to the group. Mary felt a deep sense of gratitude for their partnership, knowing it had made all the difference. The settlers expressed their thanks to the trio, grateful for the warning and support they had provided. Mary felt a swell of pride, knowing they had played a crucial role in the community's survival. She realized how much she had grown since the raid on her own settlement, her journey marked by resilience and determination. As the celebrations continued, Mary thought about her future. The canyon had been a refuge, a place of healing and growth. But now she wanted more. She dreamed of building a home, a place where she could raise her child in peace and safety. Kai sensed her thoughts and asked what she envisioned for the future. Mary shared her dreams, speaking of a life filled with love and stability. She wanted to contribute to the community, to be part of something larger than herself. Kai listened, nodding in understanding. He, too, longed for a place where he could honor his heritage and live in harmony with the land. The victory had shown him the potential for peace, a future where settlers and native tribes could coexist. To joined the conversation, his expression thoughtful. He spoke of the possibility of forging stronger ties between the two groups, building bridges of understanding and respect. Mary agreed, recognizing the importance of collaboration and mutual support. Together, they discussed their plans, each contributing ideas and hopes for the future. The settlers had shown their willingness to work together, and Mary believed they could create a community that embraced diversity and cooperation. As the day wore on, Mary felt a sense of peace. She had found a place where she could belong, surrounded by people who shared her values and dreams. Her journey had been difficult, but it had led her to a new beginning, a chance to build the life she envisioned. The celebrations continued into the evening. The settlers gathered around a large fire. Mary felt a sense of contentment as she watched the flames dance, their light a symbol of hope and renewal. The community had come together, united by their shared experiences and aspirations. Kai and To stood by her side, their presence a comforting reminder of the strength they had found in each other. Mary knew they would face more challenges, but she was confident they could overcome them together. As the night deepened, Mary reflected on her journey. She had lost much, but she had also gained something invaluable. Her friendship with Kai and To had given her hope and strength, a foundation on which to build a new life. She was ready to face whatever challenges awaited them, knowing she was not alone. With the dawn, they would continue their journey, each step bringing them closer to the future they dreamed of. Mary was ready, her heart filled with determination and the promise of a new day. With Kai and To by her side, she knew she could face whatever challenges awaited them. The fire burned low, casting long shadows on the ground. Mary felt a deep sense of gratitude, knowing she was part of a community that cared for one another. Together, they had faced the danger and come out stronger. As she drifted to sleep, Mary felt a renewed sense of hope. The path ahead was uncertain, but she was ready to continue the journey, each step bringing them closer to the life they dreamed of. With her friends by her side, she knew she could face whatever challenges awaited them. If you loved the story, like the video and subscribe.